disclaimer, this is my perception on Ulta. This is what happens at my store. Every store is different. Everybody's experience is different. You're gonna have people that love it. You're gonna have people that hate it. I know we live in a world where you get prizes just for doing something, but that's not the way I work. Welcome, my name is Cassie. I hope you're having a good day or had a good day wherever you be in this world. Today I'm going to be making a video on myths and things that I hear about Ulta. Pretty much when I was applying for Ulta, I was searching all about Ulta's rules and Ulta's interviews, and now that I have worked there for a year, I just kind of want to touch briefly on my journey and then nip these complaints and myths in the bud. This video is pretty much just going to be for the people that if you're looking for a job at Ulta, this is what you expect, what to believe and what not to believe. I do just want to go ahead and say that every Ulta is different. If you are interested in this type of video, then please just keep on watching. Also make sure that you are subscribed to my channel because I upload twice a week, once on Wednesdays and once on Sundays, and it is free to subscribe. It's not going to hurt you to hit that subscribe button, and we'll get right into the video. So from time to time, I normally go on YouTube and I'll search working at Ulta interviews, just because I like to, all the ones that I normally see are like at least 6 months old, and I'm kind of just like, really? Oh, if you see any yellow, I have like a weird clip back here because the hair was making me angry. So I pretty much Googled tonight working at Ulta. I didn't fart, that was the bottom of my chair. Working at Ulta, and I came up with this website. Also, while watching some YouTube videos, I kind of wrote down some notes of things that people were like complaining about and things that to me just was absolutely absurd and not true. Like I said, every Ulta is different, so I'm not speaking on every Ulta. I'm speaking specifically on like me and specifically my Ulta and how I do things. So just a little bit about me. I applied as a prestige beauty advisor, and that is what I was hired as, and I worked as a prestige beauty advisor for about 3 months before there was talk of becoming a manager. And within 9 months, so I hadn't even hit a year, 9 months, I officially moved up to prestige sales manager, and that is currently what I am right now. So I'm a prestige sales manager. If you would like to know more about applying for prestige beauty advisor or prestige sales manager, let me know down below and I can definitely do some pointers. But I figured that kind of going off of this website and going off of things that people were saying, maybe if they were similar, then I could just speak on it. So I didn't read everything. I kind of just scrolled to the 15 things. So we'll get right into it before this video is 5,000 years long. So number 15 was, the employees feel like they can't speak up, and when they do, they get penalized for it. I mean, it would honestly make me very upset if people feel like they couldn't speak up, because I like to have my employees know that they can come and speak to me about anything, even if it may get me upset. Retaliation is a thing that Ulta does not put up with. They will not tolerate it at all. So I would just encourage any employee, if you feel like you're being retaliated against, say you had something wrong and you complained about it, and then you notice that person or whatever, someone is retaliating against you, you can call HR and you can say something to them. The last thing that you should be doing is working in a environment where you don't feel comfortable because of something that you spoke up on because you thought that it was wrong, or whatever the case may be. So that's absolutely wrong. It's a difference in complaining in the way that you're treated and complaining about like Ulta's policy. We can't really change Ulta's policy, so just keep that in mind. They're encouraged to sell makeup that's already been used by someone else. Absolutely not. When we return something, the only thing we have in store that may be used by someone else are testers, but those are cleaned every week and those are always replaced. But yeah, we have every day a new brand is getting cleaned and all of that. Specifically for me, I have things in place for my PBAs that they are doing every shift. So all makeup that is returned is completely destroyed. We have to ask you if you used it. If you used it, we print out a little slip, which if you're returning something and you used it, say yes. Don't lie and say no. So we print out a little slip and put it on there, and then at the end of the night, we damage everything. And don't go dumpster diving, because we literally scrape out even eyeshadows and we cut brushes, not to mention how disgusting that is. So that's also a lie. Number 13, they don't get a break during their super long shifts. So that's a lie as well. At my store, mainly the employees are part-time. The only people that are full-time are like the boutiques, a few salon people and managers. So if you're part-time, you're working, like your shifts are 4 to 5 hours long, and every shift that you get, you are guaranteed a 15-minute break. But it is your responsibility to make sure that you ask for them. I always make sure that I encourage my employees to take at least their 15-minute break. If they're there for 8 hours, you get a 30-minute lunch, and that's just flat out. At my store especially, you are highly encouraged to take your 15-minute break. If you don't take it, it's on. If you've worked there for a long time, you still may not even be able to do makeup application. So I don't know how it works in other states, but in my state and in my store, the only people that are able to do a makeup application are people who are licensed. Now me, I'm licensed back home, which is in another state, but it doesn't count for this state. So the people who can do makeup applications are benefit people if we absolutely need them to, like if it's an emergency type of situation, the skin therapist, and then the salon. What PBAs and prestige sales managers can do is we can do half of the face, and that's the most we can do, because other than that they have to pay for it. And that's really just for safety for the store in itself. So it's just protecting us in the end. It's nothing against the guests or anything like that. But we can definitely do makeup applications in the salon and they can pay for it. But you can apply makeup to guests. Yeah. They have to wear a ton of makeup, more than the employees want to. Again, this is store-to-store basis. Our employees, a lot of them don't really wear makeup. We just make sure that every weekend we have a theme, and then we all kind of wear that makeup on the weekends. And on the weekends you have to have at least 3 pieces or 3 types of makeup on. So it could be a brow, mascara, and lip gloss, or it could be like liquid highlighter, concealer, and mascara. Just because like during the week we're not that busy. And also, so Ulta isn't just about makeup, it's also about skincare. So as long as your skin looks glowy and like you're taking care of it, then that matters as well. But we mainly want that type of glowy, taking care of skin during the weekday opposed to the weekend. There's basically no training for new employees. So yes, that is true. That's not a myth. When I first started, my first day, it was like 20 minutes. I had to fill out like tax forms. I had to fill out my information, my bank information, and stuff like that. Yeah, so that was my first day, just filling out paperwork and stuff like that, getting the dress code. And then the next day, it was just like, mainly I was there to watch a bunch of videos, like shade match videos, Ulta's policy videos, stuff like that. And then that was really it. I was just like thrown on the floor, and I remember like I had asked my manager, okay, what do I do next? Am I supposed to be following you? So like for a couple hours I kind of followed her, but like I'm not a type of person to, yes, I want the training, but also I've never worked retail before, so this is my first retail job. I was so experienced and knowledgeable in makeup that you have to be pretty much self-driven. And I say this because mainly there's not like a training program for Ulta. It's really just your manager will let you know their policies and stuff like that. Like my daily assignments isn't something that's Ulta's policy. It's just something that works for me. So that wouldn't be in the training videos. That'd be something that I'd sit one-on-one with my employee and kind of explain to them. The first day, she was pretty much just like, yeah, that's really it. You do your own thing. So I was like, all right, then I'm going to take full reign and I'm gonna go help everybody. And that's what I did. That was the first day I was pretty much on my own. I was still brand new, and my manager at the time was like, you did really good. I'm really surprised that you kind of just took the lead and led yourself. So I'll say this, if you're not motivated on your own and you're not self-motivated, and like you need someone to tell you how to do stuff every step of the way, then being a PBA isn't for you, because a PBA is fast-paced. You need to be on your toes. You need to be able to recommend something. I'm not saying you have to know every product in the store, because that's a lot, and over time you will learn. But relying on other people for everything, that you just left a guest and then now you're just standing there waiting for another guest to come to you, it doesn't work like that. You have to put yourself out there. And as somebody who is 100% introvert and is very, very shy around strangers, it was hard for me, but makeup is my passion. Makeup is something that I love. So it just comes naturally to me, like, hey, do you need help? Yeah, I need this for dry skin. Yeah, oh, perfect. This is what I got. So you have to be self-driven, especially for PBA. I'm kind of really speaking more towards like PBA and like what I work, because yes, I was a PBA and a lead cashier at the same time, and being a cashier on its own, so being a beauty advisor, is totally different than being a PBA. Totally different. You could still like vice versa, which again, I could make another video on like how I manage, how me as a prestige sales manager kind of manages, and what I expect of my team. Now, obviously, I won't go into full detail to give my management stuff away, but just giving somebody, say if like there's a prestige manager watching and they need help, just to help a fellow manager. Many employees feel there's absolutely no room to grow within the company, so this is false. I honestly didn't want to apply at Ulta. I applied at Sephora, which if you want to know about that fail and unprofessionalism at Sephora, then let me know and I can make a video about it. But I was just a Sephora girl, and one of my friends that I graduated high school with, she works at Ulta. She's like a brow expert, and she said, you know, there's a lot of room to grow in the company, you should really do it. So I finally applied, and it took me a while to get hired just because of the hiring process or whatever. There's a lot of room to grow. I became a manager in less than a year, but again, it really just depends on you. If you're just doing the bare minimum, there's not going to be room to grow. I think people just expect, oh, because I've been working here for 3 years, I'm the one next in line to be a manager. But if you're just doing bare minimum and you're not going out of your way to get the job done, then yeah, there's not really going to be much room for you, because you have to show that you have potential to grow within the company as well. Again, it goes back to being self-motivated and being interested in what you're doing. If Ulta is just a, let me get paid type of thing, yeah, that's what I'll say. So I believe there is a lot of room to grow within the company. A week into me being manager, my DM had already spoke to my GM saying that they needed to set me up to eventually, basically to go on the route to be a GM of my own one day, which is freaking awesome. But again, you have to want to be there. You have to want to grow. You can't just be that person that's like, oh, I've been here for 3 years, so I'm next up for manager, because it doesn't work that way. It don't. It's all about what you deserve. If I just come here and I'm sitting here and I sit on my butt all day and I don't do my job, I don't deserve anything else, right? No matter how hard you work or how much you sell, you won't be compensated for it. Ulta employees don't work off of commission. The only people that may, which it depends. They have a lot of things to go through, like guidelines, is skin therapists and salon people, but that's really the only people that make compensation or anything like that. People will ask you like, oh, are you making commission because you're about to make a lot of money off of me? And it's like, no, I'm not. I just really want to help you get what you need. Employees feel like being personable and friendly to customers is frowned upon. Absolutely not. Our thing is we want to help every guest. This also touches on, like, I've heard a few times people don't feel comfortable shopping in Ulta because they feel like if they don't have makeup on, they're told not to help guests. And me specifically, if I see somebody not helping a guest, I'm upset. Whether they have pajamas on, whether they have no makeup on, whether they have full face, whether they look like they just came from working out 5 days in a row, you need to help every guest. That's your job. And even if we don't have anybody on the prestige side, I expect my people to go to the mass side and pull them over so that way they can help them as well. And even if they don't want them more expensive, they can help them on the mass side, drugstore side, whatever you want to call it. But I get extreme, even if there's a guest walking in the door and someone doesn't say, hi, welcome in, hey, welcome in, how are you? On the walkie, like, make sure we're paying attention to every guest, because you should be guest service, customer service. You should feel welcomed when you come into our store. I don't judge a book by its cover. I try not to, instill that into my employees. It's every guest that walks in here gets help. So it basically says, we were discouraged from taking time with customers and tasks were the main focus. My thing is, whenever my employees work, they do have to clean, they have to replenish all of the stuff so that way it's there when someone wants it. But they only do that when they have time and they have helped every guest on the floor. So if there's 3 brand new guests coming in, they should not be cleaning or replenishing. They should be going up to the guests, making sure that they're finding everything okay, or if there's something that they could find for them, and then they'll go back to what they were doing. Management hardly cares about how good of an employee you are, just that you get a lot of credit card sign-ups. No, this isn't true. Yes, credit cards are important. We do care about the employees. If we see somebody that their numbers aren't good, or we see someone not treating guests with like not welcoming them, or they just have an attitude, or they're just weird up at the front, we kind of pull them aside and talk to them like, hey, is there something going on? How can we help you do better? We just want all of our employees to be good all around. So again, it depends store to store basis. Not every manager is the way that we are. I mean, some managers just don't care at all, but as far as like me and a few of my other management team, this is the way that we feel. Like, guests are number one, and if you're having an issue, we expect you to come to us and kind of say, you know, how can I fix this, or how can we support you in fixing this? What do you need from us? Their everyday tasks are way less than glamorous. I mean, I don't know who created this, but any job that you work, you're going to have tasks. So we get truck, which is shipment of all the goods that we get every week. And it's just like, we have to clean. And it's like, how would you feel if you walked into an Ulta store and it's completely a mess and the product that you want has like mold and dust all over it? Like, how would you feel? Obviously, somebody has to do it. It's part of your job. Working in retail isn't just working with the guests and helping the guests. Yes, that is our main priority, but when hours and the store is closed, you have to do behind the scenes stuff as well. So if you don't like truck, you don't like tasking, maybe Ulta's not the job for you. I mean, even like, I used to work for a youth program for children ages 5 to 12, and it wasn't all fun and games at all times. When the kids were in school, we had to build new bookshelves. We had to build all these rooms. We had to put the couches together. We had to hang up picture frames. That wasn't in the job description, but it's part of the job. I feel like that should be self-explanatory. You shouldn't just expect to not do the dirty work as well. They have to be okay with working long and grueling shifts. I mean, honestly, not really. The most you're gonna work is, so like right now, all of our employees are part-time, so they would work 4 to 5 hours, and if they're working anything longer than that, it's a shift that they're picking up, to which they will have a break. 1 or 2 breaks in their shift depending on how long they're working, but they never usually work longer than 8 hours. There's little to no communication between management and employees. So again, I'm going to say this a million times throughout the video, it really does depend on your store, because we utilize the WorkJam app a lot to kind of put communication between managers and employees. Our managers have a group chat, so we're constantly communicating back and forth, and also with my PBAs and my people. So as a prestige manager, I oversee the prestige beauty advisors, the benefit experts, and the skin therapists, so I'm always communicating to them every day. You also, when you come in, have to get a chat in, so you're up to date on everything that's going on that day. So I think that, yes, communication could be a lot better. Like, I wish Ulta gave us the hours and opportunity to have like once every other week meeting with all staff, so that way, because things are constantly changing and we have events coming up and stuff like that, so we really rely on that app to get the communication across to everybody. And sometimes we'll even print stuff out and put it up at the register so that way they can read it, but it is still kind of tough to get it across everybody, so we just try our best, really. I mean, communication is always a problem in every workplace. It's just a matter of how you're trying to make it better. They have to work major holidays no matter what. So I think that some Ultas, actually all Ultas, we do have like a blackout time where we can't take time off at all. But like me last year, I was home for Christmas and I was home for New Year's, but I also wasn't manager yet. And my DM he was okay with it, as well as my GM, because she completely understands. Yeah, and then some people also went home for Christmas and she allowed it. But yeah, it's really important that you should expect to work during big holidays. The only time that we're closed, I believe, is Christmas and Thanksgiving, but we open up late at night on Thanksgiving, so not really the full day on Thanksgiving. Especially working retail, it's really hard because you're expected to work weekends and you're also expected to work most holidays as well. So it's really hard being in like a military lifestyle and working retail, but as long as your GM is pretty lenient with it, then you're good. Like, I haven't had an issue, but I can see it being an issue in other places. So that's why, like, when I first kind of got in Ulta, I was really nervous because we usually go home for like a month, and obviously that can't happen. There's a point system and you lose points if you're sick. Yeah, there's some things that I don't agree with for Ulta's policy, but it's not my policy and I'm a manager, so I have to go with it. We can all have our opinion and voice what we think is wrong about it, but yeah, even if you bring a doctor's note, you still get 1 point taken away for being absent. But in our store, we kind of, If you get somebody to cover that shift, then you're not absent, but if you don't, then you're absent, and yes, you get a point, but it really just, it depends. You get half a point if you're late, and no call, no show, and so, like, everything is a point. A verbal, second verbal, a written, like, all of that is a point, and I learn a bunch of stuff as I go. So that was it for the 15 myths, and then really quickly, I kind of just wrote a list down of things, just because it's a few things that I have heard in some people's videos. I've read it on Reddit, I've read it on Indeed and stuff like that, so it's just a concern that I can understand and be frustrated. Like, if I read it, I'd be like, oh, then maybe I don't want to work there, or just, there's just things that like contradict itself. So the first thing that I'm going to get onto is gratis. Gratis is a huge deal to so many people, and I totally understand because you want to feel appreciated. So one of the things is only managers get gratis. And before I started, my store had a GM that's the way that she worked. So again, it is store-to-store basis, and I know a store that only gives it to people who deserve it, but then when they seem like they deserve it, they actually don't get it. So it really just depends. I'll kind of share how me and my GM do it. Mainly the gratis that comes in more often is prestige. So technically that's like the prestige stuff. Like, salon gets some stuff, mask gets some stuff, and I don't touch that. I just touch the prestige. So I don't touch that stuff just because it's not my department, but because it's the prestige gratis, like, I do touch that. And because when I first started, my GM was like, tell me what you want to do with gratis, and that's what we'll do, because the GMs are in charge of it. So the way that I look at it is, a fish doesn't get rewarded for swimming, aka you don't get rewarded for doing your job. So if your job is a BA and you're getting 1 credit card a shift and you're getting loyalty, like, you don't get rewarded for that. If you're a prestige beauty advisor and you're selling and you're helping every other guest and you're like, yeah, I did good, but I met like 2 out of 4 goals, and it's like, you don't get rewarded for that. You get rewarded for doing more than what is expected, which is why I have that paper. So no, for me, I don't think that you get gratis just for being a manager. That's not fair, because even though it is a selling job, some managers don't focus on selling. So if you're not selling, I don't think that you should be getting gratis, and that's the way that I give it. So I do have a box that I keep all of gratis. And because when I'm not gemming, when I am not in charge of the whole store, I am bumping myself down. Personally, this is the way I do it. Bumping myself down as a PBA, and I'm on the floor selling just because that's my section and I have goals to reach as well. So I'm kind of going above and beyond and doing my own thing. It's important for me to be able to try all of these things as well as watch our training videos. I do have a contest monthly, and the person at the end of the month with the highest numbers, there's 2 people for 2 different contests, they get it. And then I'll do contests like whoever can sell the most mascaras this week, or whoever can sell the most primers this week, or whatever, in certain brands. And then I also have my PBAs kind of keep track every shift and every hour of what they're doing, and if they're meeting their goals, then they also get it. But you can't, like, my thing is, if you're doing the bare minimum, again, like I said in the beginning, if you're doing the bare minimum and expecting to grow within the company, it's not going to happen. If you're doing the bare minimum and expecting to get gratis, it's not going to happen, especially for me. That's just the way that I look at it. That's the way I do gratis. Everybody does gratis differently. But I don't hoard it. I really just keep it to be able to give it out. Hey, I really appreciate what you did on the floor today. Thank you so much. Here's something to reward it. And my people, they tell me that they don't expect it, which is awesome, because I know that a lot of people expect it. Otherwise, this wouldn't be a conversation or something that would come up in a video. Normally, my managers will get a couple things here and there, but mainly it's for associates, so that way they know, hey, listen, I know that you went through a lot this week, but we really appreciate it. So it's just in a way, and not everybody expects gratis, which is totally fine. So I watched a video where someone was complaining. They were a beauty advisor, and a beauty advisor is you're on the register. They were complaining that they were constantly stuck at the register, and I don't know about you, but when I work at the register, I would be expected to be stuck at the register. I mean, if you walk into Kohl's and someone's a cashier and stuck at the register, would you expect them to be all around the store, or would you expect them to be at the register? If you don't like it, maybe a BA's job isn't for you. But I know that at our store, you're able to kind of walk in the front of the store. As long as you can still see the register, you can kind of come out from behind the cash wrap, and there's always stuff for you to be doing. You could be doing impulse section, you could be restocking, whatever the brands are in front. Every store is different. You could be cleaning, you could be restocking, you could be cleaning out, there's just a ton of things that you could be doing. Like, Ulta opens a lot of doors for a lot of people as long as you're self-driven and you're ready to go out there and explore. Ulta has a place for you. So if you're wanting to know what it's like to be a prestige beauty advisor, because that's what I was for 9 months before I became a manager. I was also a prestige beauty advisor and a lead cashier at the same time, just to help out the store and also get higher pay. I don't know if that's available in every store. A video of like how to get ready for an Ulta interview, how to ace the Ulta interview. Again, disclaimer, this is just my experience. Every experience is different, but this is my experience on its own. Take what you want from it. Don't take anything from it. Take everything. It's cool. Anyways, make sure that you're subscribed if you haven't already, and I'll see you in my next video.
Baby girl, you got it, girl, you got it, girl. You got it, girl, you got it, girl. I don't wanna play no games, play no games. Fuck around, get my last name. Know you're tired of the same damn thing. That's okay, cause baby, you got it, girl, you got it.